ago, I spoke with Oklahoma Republican Senator James Lankford, who was on the Senate Committee on Intelligence, about these developments with Putin, Russia, and Ukraine. Senator, this phone call today between President Trump and Putin was a big deal. It was 90 minutes long, the end of Putin's long diplomatic isolation. Putin's invited Trump to come to Moscow after the two meet perhaps in Saudi Arabia. Should President Trump go?
Well, they should definitely sit down. We'll find out what the location is on that. And obviously, this has been something that's happened between U.S. presidents and Russian, and prior to that, Soviet leaders before, to be able to find moments to be able to sit down and say, we have wide disagreements on things, but we do need to be able to sit down and actually talk to bring volume down and the heat down between two nations on it. When you've got two nuclear nations, it's important that we maintain those conversations, especially when you've got a nation as unstable as Russia is right now and as belligerent as they are.
Yeah, this comes at the same time, though, that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth went to NATO in Brussels and said today that it was unrealistic for Ukraine to regain the territory that Russia seized, and also said that official U.S. policy is against Ukraine joining NATO. Ukraine appears to be the loser here.
Yeah, this has been hard for Ukraine for a while on this. This goes all the way back to the Obama administration when Russia moved in and stole Crimea, literally stole Ukraine's navy during that time period. Then obviously they moved into the Donbass in the eastern area. Ukraine has been exceptionally successful at keeping the Russians from continuing to move across their country, which they want to do. And obviously the United States has supported them to be able to stop them from sweeping and taking over the entire nation. But Russia has been tenacious by just chipping away a little bit at a time. The difficulty now is after years of warfare, they're at a stalemate at this point, where the Ukrainians are literally, they've had a lot of loss of life, so have the Russians on it. They're dug down in trench warfare, and I think Pete Hegseth is saying the obvious at this point, that they're at a stalemate, and the Russians aren't pulling out, and the Ukrainians aren't going to make more progress on this. So how do we stop the bloodshed?
Yeah, but very quickly, we just heard Trump in the Oval Office a short time ago. Peace in this war seems to be a top priority for him now.
I would hope that it is. He's made a lot of clear statements during the campaign to be able to try to bring some peace in that area, because the instability affects literally the entire global economy. There's a lot of wheat, a lot of oil, a lot of steel, a lot of manufacturing, sunflower oils, all kinds of things that come out of that area, and it literally affects the entire global economy for that war, not to mention just the loss of life and the horrible trauma for so many families that are displaced. There are people who want to be able to go home and get some stability again. For those that live in the east and that Donbass and now Russian-occupied territory, it is an entirely different life and lifestyle for them. So this is going to be a long-term battle and challenge for them of what the Russians have taken at that point to try to figure out how to be able to stabilize that and help those families.
All right, Senator Lankford will be back in a little bit to talk about DOGE and government waste and fraud. But